Good day. The eThekwini Municipality's Strategic Spatial Planning Branch has prepared this video for the draft Spatial Development Framework for 2021-2022. This framework provides short, medium, and long-term spatial development guidelines for the entire municipal area. The SDF, as it is called, has been advertised for public comment. This video provides an explanation of spatial planning, what it is, and why it is important to undertake this high-level strategic spatial plan, as well as explaining how this plan is implemented across the city. What is spatial planning? Spatial planning is a key instrument for establishing short, medium, and long-term frameworks for territorial development, promoting spatial organization of land uses, and reconciling competing policy goals. It aims to balance demands for development with the need to protect the environment and to achieve social and economic objectives, as well as spatial transformation. In the South African context, spatial transformation must reconcile spatially divided apartheid cities. It should forge new spatial forms in settlements, transport, social and economic areas, redressing the legacy of apartheid segregated cities. Why do we prepare SDFs? All municipalities are legally required to prepare an SDF in terms of the Municipal Systems Act, the Spatial Planning and Land Use Management Act, as well as the Municipal Spatial Planning and Land Use Management Bylaws. One of the main reasons for preparing an SDF is to manage urban growth and achieve spatial transformation. The SDF offers the greatest opportunity to give effect spatial transformation by giving spatial expression to the Splumer principles. The SDF is therefore a management tool that seeks to manage urban development in a just, sustainable, efficient, and resilient way, and in the context of good administration. The SDF provides the basis for developing the city's bulk infrastructure rollout and phasing plan. The SDF provides the basis for a spatially targeted city budget to ensure the delivery of services and opportunities. The SDF guides land use decisions, catalytic projects, and investments within the city's key spatial priority areas. Ultimately, when preparing the SDF for any spatial plan, the plans must achieve a particular outcome. It must support regeneration and spatial transformation, alleviate poverty and create jobs, help grow the economy, ensure the plans support sustainable livelihoods and are responsive to climate change. The SDF responds to the needs of a wide and diverse customer base and requires us to engage with several stakeholders such as ward committees. The SDF is a long-term development framework that gives spatial direction to the IDP. As outlined, SDFs are spatial tools to steer future economic growth and development within the broader economic and spatial policy framework of government. It is the intention of the city to implement a city-wide land use management system informed by the IDP and SDF. The package of plans is designed to fill the gap in information detail, so it proposes a series of plans to assist with translating the broad land use guidelines in the SDF into detailed land use proposals in lower order plans, such as spatial development plans, local area plans, regeneration plans, and precinct plans that ultimately inform new schemes and scheme reviews, thereby translating the strategic intent of the SDF into the scheme. The link between strategic spatial plans and schemes is critical to give effect to spatial transformation. It is important to understand that the SDF is broad-based and indicative of future land uses. It is not the same as a scheme or zoning. The SDF is informed by key global, national, provincial, and local policy and legislation such as the Sustainable Development Goals, National Development Plan, Integrated Urban Development Framework, and IDP. The policies, along with an assessment of the socio-economic, environmental, and service conditions, helps us to identify the several challenges facing citizens in the municipality and helps us formulate a spatial vision. Based on the Splumer principles, this vision is articulated in a concept plan which sets out broadly the key structuring elements such as nodes, public transport corridors, and metropolitan open spaces that inform the long-term spatial arrangement of land uses and development opportunities. This is translated into specific land use proposals and land use guidelines to inform scheme reviews while remaining at a broad and strategic level and recommending the priority areas for city investment in infrastructure and economic and social development. This is outlined in Chapter 8, Capital Investment Framework of the SDF. It is important to obtain input from several stakeholders as possible so their concerns can be considered and included in the SDF with each annual update. The draft SDF is then advertised, calling for public comment before it is amended and submitted to full council for final adoption. Thereafter, it is submitted to the MEC of COCTA in compliance with SPLUMA. Among the many challenges facing the citizens of eThekwini, particularly access to jobs, services, and housing, the municipality has been experiencing an increase in the number of natural disasters over the last 5 years, which often results in the poor and vulnerable population experiencing the most impacts. The SDF and package of plans pay attention to environmental trends and global climate predictions that an area might experience, such as the Isipingo LAP that highlighted the high risk of floods as an important environmental challenge in that area, and makes recommendations on how to mitigate the impact of natural disasters in the municipality. The SDF details climate change trends within the municipality and the disaster management sector plan. A strategic environmental assessment is a requirement in terms of SPLUMA and the local government, municipal planning and performance management regulations. The SCA is important as it highlights the environmental quality of an area, which provides the foundation for social well-being, economic prosperity, and a sustainable future. Phase 1 of the SCA involved the environmental status quo, which evaluated the state of the environment in terms of air quality, water quality, terrestrial ecosystems, estuaries, and coastal ecosystems. This was to provide a preliminary indication of whether the city's proposed development path is sustainable in relation to the current state of the natural environment. Generally, the state of the natural environment is poor and is below sustainability thresholds. This situation is likely to be exacerbated under current development trajectories and under climate change. There have been some positive achievements that have improved environmental quality, such as reduced industrial sulfur oxide emissions through stringent legislation. There are still opportunities to improve the environmental status quo and to maximize the value of the areas where environmental quality is good, especially in the South region. Approximately 68% of eThekwini municipality is rural in character. 80% of this rural area is under traditional ownership and authority. The predominant land use in rural areas is mainly residential with limited pockets of commercial agriculture. The key challenges identified in rural areas include densification, whereby there are more dwelling units per hectare than the suitable number of dwelling units in such given areas. The municipality has a limited ability to manage land uses in traditional areas due to the system of dual governance as well as the capacity to service rural nodes. The SDF information is updated annually and new information is added when required. The new information in this SDF focuses on identifying priority housing development areas and guiding incremental planning for informal settlements. Another key focus is developing the One Plan district development model and formulating a cohesive, strategy-led budget across all spheres of government to facilitate service delivery and spatial transformation in key priority investment areas. The SDF continues to update information relating to the Economic Recovery Plan, scheme extensions, and procedures to shorten land use procedures in priority housing development areas, and updating information on the SEA process. eThekwini municipality continues to actively mainstream climate adaptation and mitigation in the SDF and continues monitoring and evaluating the spatial outcomes of the spatial development framework proposals. The SDF promotes a compact city with the strategic focus on protecting environmentally sensitive areas, promoting agricultural development and limiting sprawl in rural areas, and focusing on higher intensity development in urban nodes or town centers along public transit corridors and spatially targeting the urban core and integration zones. Spatial priority areas in the SDF align with the focus on the prime investment corridor in the Built Environment Performance Plan. eThekwini municipality has integration zones that are located on prime investment corridors such as Bridge City and Umlazi that are located on the C2 public transport corridor. Pinetown and Kwamashu Bridge City are located on the C3 public transport corridor. The economic greenfields include the Aerotropolis, the Strategic Investment Project 2, Cato Ridge, Keystone, Hammersdale, Ilovo South, the Port, and the Back of Port. The rural priority investment areas of Mpumalanga, KwaXimba, Inchanga, Umzinyathi, Umbumbulu, and Umnini. To balance the equitable distribution of resources as well as coordinate and facilitate service delivery throughout the municipality, the city has identified 17 administrative zonal areas that are made up of the 110 wards which exist across the entire municipal area. These 17 zones will be clustered into 8 regions, and service delivery will be coordinated through the area-based management offices. The zones and regions have not yet been finalized. This model aligns with the proposals in the One Plan process. The proposed zones and regions are not to be confused with the spatial planning regions. The eThekwini municipality SDF is divided into 4 planning regions, namely the North, the South, Central, and Outer West spatial planning regions, in which detailed planning is undertaken. The map illustrates the spatial regions in which the various wards fall under. A process is underway to locate the spatial planning proposals in the new administrative zonal areas, and this way it will be possible to see how and where the planning proposals will address ward-based community needs and priorities. Many spatial plans have been prepared and approved by the Council. The approved spatial plans address township revitalization, urban renewal, transit-oriented development, plans to stimulate economic development, and rural development. These are the approved rural spatial plans. The Council approved spatial plans for the Central Region include the Pinetown CBD Node Precinct Plan, the Pinetown South Local Area Plan, and the Claremont-Kwadabega Township Regeneration Proposed Land Use Plan. The Pinetown CBD is one of the areas within the municipality that have regeneration plans in order to roll out bulk infrastructure and unlock socio-economic opportunities. This plan has informed the implementation of new housing opportunities in the Pinetown area. The Pinetown South Local Area Plan informs the proposed land uses for areas such as Gwandengezi, Cloudwater, and Luganda in the Central Region. The C3 public transport corridor, as outlined, is a prime investment corridor that connects Bridge City with the Pinetown CBD through the MR 577. The main objective of the development of this corridor is to maximize socio-economic opportunities near it to assist with the functioning of both areas. The Outer West is identified as the most environmentally diverse region in eThekwini municipality, and this is distinguished in the Cato Ridge Land Use Framework. The Hillcrest-Gillets-Kloof Corridor Conceptual Land Use Management Plan identifies that these areas have socio-economic opportunities for employment for those near them. Hence, the plan encourages development within this corridor. The North Region has the Northern Urban Development Corridor that envisions developing the area into a mixed-use development corridor through the integration, upgrading, and intensification of existing development and creating new opportunities. The Watson North and Greylands Functional Area Plan and Draft Scheme seeks to provide services and create development opportunities in the given area. The agglomeration of development in Konobia is an outcome of the Konobia Framework Plan. The South Region of eThekwini Municipality has, amongst others, the Umkomazi Proposed Land Use Framework, the Umlazi Nodal Regeneration Plan, the Umlazi Local Area Plan Spatial Development Framework, as well as the Ntsimbini Gologodo Rural Functional Plan. The Umlazi Local Area Plan and Nodal Regeneration Plan seeks to create economic development and shift towards mixed uses in an area that is predominantly residential. The Ntsimbini Gologodo Rural Functional Plan addresses the population growth in the area and notes that it increases the need for service provision by the municipality. The aim of such projects is to optimize development in different areas by creating or identifying socio-economic opportunities. Likewise, the rural and urban spatial plans consider community members in terms of proposals and identify strategic or priority investment areas in close proximity that can assist in terms of achieving spatial transformation. In summary, we have prepared a development concept or vision for the whole of eThekwini and translated this into future land uses in the SDF and lower order plans per region. We have identified the priority projects across the entire city that need to be undertaken, many of which are now being implemented by the Catalytic Projects Office through targeted zonings and strategy-led municipal budgets. We have undertaken numerous law, order, and detailed plans and regeneration projects to help translate this strategic vision into land use guidelines and zones. Our plans recommend ways to make eThekwini attractive to investors, to improve living conditions and protect the environment for all, thereby facilitating development in the city in terms of the vision and a single city plan. It is important to ensure that all line departments and spheres of government collectively work towards implementing these plans, and to this end, we are engaging with all spheres of government to develop one plan which we hope will integrate and coordinate at service delivery in the municipality. The draft SDF is tabled before Council in February before calling for a 60-day public comment period. The municipality encourages communities, stakeholders, and ward committees to engage and comment or share their knowledge. It is also during this period that there are presentations to all the portfolio committees and further sector engagements. Once the final SDF is adopted by Council in May of each year, it is sent to COCTA and thereafter it is finally adopted in compliance with SPLUMA. Some of the comments that were previously raised by COCTA included or focused on the need for an agricultural sector strategy, the strategic environmental assessment and overview of environmental issues. Currently, there is no single department responsible for environment, and there are challenges to coordinating this information, the wall-to-wall schemes, as well as the capital investment framework. For further information, please visit the web address provided for the Spatial Development Framework and the package of plans of eThekwini Municipality. For any general inquiries, you may contact the Strategic Spatial Planning Branch on the contact details provided. Thank you.